Have you ever wondered how a tiny, seemingly insignificant delay could change the entire course of history? Well, let me tell you about it, to our delay that quite literally reshaped World War II and the world as we know it. The date is June 6th, 1944. D-Day. The Allied forces are about to launch the largest amphibious invasion in history. But what most people do not know is that the original plan was for D-Day to happen on June 5th. So, what happened? The weather. A massive storm was brewing in the English Channel, with gale-force winds and torrential rain. General Eisenhower, the supreme Allied commander, was faced with an impossible decision: launch the invasion as planned and risk catastrophic failure, or postpone it and potentially lose the element of surprise. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Thousands of ships, planes, and over 150,000 soldiers were ready to go. Postponing meant sending them all back, a logistical nightmare that could be spotted by German reconnaissance. It also meant waiting at least 2 weeks for the right combination of tide and moonlight. The Germans would surely discover the buildup and reinforce their defenses, making any future invasion infinitely harder. This is where a little-known hero enters the story. Group Captain James Stagg, Eisenhower's chief meteorologist, while other forecasters predicted the storm would last for days. Stagg and his team saw a small, temporary break in the weather, a window of opportunity, just 36 hours long, starting on the morning of June 6th. It was a huge gamble. If Stagg was wrong, the consequences would be devastating. Imagine the scene. Eisenhower, pacing in his headquarters, the weight of the world on his shoulders. He polled his commanders. Most were hesitant. The forecast was uncertain, but Eisenhower trusted his gut and, more importantly, he trusted his weathermen. He made the call. Okay, let's go. Now, here's where the 2-hour delay comes into play. But from the other side, while the Allies were wrestling with the weather, the German commanders were feeling pretty relaxed. Because of the terrible storm on June 5th, they were convinced no invasion was possible. German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, the famous Desert Fox in charge of defending the coast, felt so confident that he left the front lines. He went back to Germany to celebrate his wife's birthday, planning to meet with Hitler the next day to ask for more panzer divisions. He was hundreds of miles away when the first Allied paratroopers landed. Other key German commanders were also away from their posts. Some were at a war game simulation in Rennes. Ironically, a simulation of an Allied invasion. Because of the storm, weather patrols by the German Air Force and Navy were cancelled. The German High Command was essentially flying blind. They received reports of paratroopers landing, but dismissed them as small-scale raids, not the main invasion. When they finally realized the scale of the attack, it was too late. Crucial hours were lost. Rommel was stuck on the road, unable to organize a swift and decisive counter. The panzer divisions he so desperately needed were held in reserve, waiting for a direct order from Hitler, who was asleep and had given strict instructions not to be woken. So, think about it. That 24-hour delay, prompted by a storm, lulled the Germans into a false sense of security. It caused their most brilliant commander to be absent at the most critical moment. It allowed the Allies to hit the beaches with the element of surprise still largely intact, despite the massive scale of the operation. If Eisenhower had launched on the 5th, the fleet would have sailed into a hurricane. If he had waited 2 weeks, Rommel would have been back. Defenses would be stronger, and the outcome of D-Day and the entire war could have been completely different. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the smallest twists of fate, like a break in the clouds, can have the biggest impact on history. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story as fascinating as I do, be sure to like and subscribe for more.